Kamela here from Creative Mom's Decant. So today we are going to make a sublimation day bag. I grabbed this bag from Craft Chameleon. It's sublimatable. It's a great size, nice large size, and it also comes with a tassel. So the tassel gave me the idea to add a leather strap and maybe even some beads. So let's sublimate this day bag today. So the first thing we're going to use is Cricut Infusible Ink, and I am going to use the zebra stripe and the blue on this project. And we want to go ahead and get this ran through our machine because it cuts just like anything, but a little different sublimation. So you cut this with the inked side up and your images mirrored. I had been doing some engraving on metal, so you move your rollers over, and now I'm going to go ahead and insert this mat. I have my standard blade attached, and we're going to cut out the infusible ink. So our infusible sheets have cut, and now we are ready to get them weeded. And you weed this similar to HTV or iron-on. So I'm just going to cut the infusible ink transfer sheet to get rid of the parts I want to keep. So this was not cut. I'm going to put that back in the black bag that infusible ink comes in and store it. You can create texting boxes, and some people may prefer that. I don't find it necessary most of the time. I just make my own. So I am going to show you here. Sometimes it does stick, especially if it got any type of humidity in the air, but you've got to get all of the parts that you don't want, all the ink off. So the white paper isn't going to hurt a thing, but anything that you left with ink would. I am done with reading, and I want to clean this up. My heat press is ready for me now, which is awesome. So I want to clean this all up because I don't want any scraps anywhere of this that could get heated onto my project. Let me know in the comments if you want to know how I learned that. I bet you can guess. All right, so I am going to do this a little bit, I don't know, I don't know, maybe differently. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to get my heat pad under here, but for right now, I'm going to go ahead and place this all out, and I'm just using butcher paper underneath me, and I am going to use my heat tape. And I want this to be on the very bottom and edge to edge, so I cut it where it's just a little overlay, but not much. So I want to get that as perfect as I can, and that's why I started with that butcher paper under me, because I'm going to use my heat tape to tape it down on the edges on the paper. And it's going to want to peel up, and that's okay. I want to tape this down. And you want this to be flat. So if it wasn't flat and snug, I needed to line that up again, and with the bottom, because it has to stay with your design or it's not going to transfer well. So I'm going to grab my heat pad here. We're going to hold on to that. I like to center these anything, HTV and things like that, by folding and making myself a crease mark. Careful with the infusible ink that you don't pop off an eye dot or anything like that. And center of my bag. Push that down. I had a center marking and I lost it. You want to heat up your item, and I love to put my center markings in when I heat things up. By flattening it back out, I found it. And then also I can use the grid marks to help me, and I love that about infusible ink. And I don't get that with my sublimation printer. So alright, and once you have that, again, the infusible ink or the heat transfer tape, and just on the plastic, and I keep moving this bottom one, so I'm really gonna have to check it when I get to the top. It's awful wrinkly because it was on that roll, and I am not a roll fan, so alright. And I am going to go ahead and add a piece down here to help it. I don't like to have to do that. I just think you have more of a chance of leaving a mark on your design. So I'm not a big fan of that. All right. So now we are ready to grab our heat mat and get this pressed down, and we are going to use another piece of butcher paper. All right, butcher paper is down. I am going to do this with medium pressure because of the bag, and I'm going to do it in two parts. So I'm going to do this side, cool a second, and do this side. All right, so I lifted off the other side without pushing record, but we had to do both sides, so it all worked out. I do recommend that you do a peek test. I'm going to do it again before I get in a hurry, and just make sure your corners are the big thing. And my center here really did not get enough down, so I am going to go one more time on this one right here. See what the infusible ink has done with our bag now. Okay, that's much better. I don't know why it had, I don't know. That seems to me like a flaw. I didn't have any heat tape there, and I have no idea what would have caused that. However, it does really look pretty. It just would not come off of this area or this area. So you'll have to let me know in the comments if you've used infusible ink and you've had that happen. I love the bright colors that infusible ink gives you. I will say I don't like weeding it, not at all. Who does, right? And that's one of the big reasons I'm thrilled to go to a sublimation printer. This is absolutely gorgeous. All right, so we are going to finish our snazzy bag up here with some embellishments, and one of them is going to be using faux leather, and we are going to make a wristlet strap. So all I did was a very, very simple design in Design Space of a rectangle. I did 1 inch by 8.5 inches, and then I'm going to cut this. If you did something fancy, you may need a mirror. For this project, I didn't need to. And I place my faux leather upside down, and I do tape it down. And I choose genuine leather. It's a Cricut setting, even though I am using faux leather. All right, so it looks like we should be in business here. You definitely have to make sure that your wheels and edges stay clean and that you have room behind your machine. Where I sometimes struggle with either the Maker 3 now or the Explorer 3, so the Series 3 machines, is they kind of self-load, where our first machines we kind of had to help the mat. These self-load, so you really just hold it and it loads, and that does cause me trouble. So that's a quick rectangle cut with design space, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this machine off and slide it back. I am struggling with a little bit of space issues, so hopefully we'll solve that soon. It cuts super nicely, just as the other Cricut machines do. And then how we finish this is you fold your two ends together. And I got this hardware off of Amazon. And you just place it inside your pliers that come in the kit, which are awesome. And so I place that in there. I like to place it right on the end evenly. That helps me get everything evened up. And then I even these layers and put them all the way in flush and squeeze down. And then you have your awesome strap. And this came with the clasp to put it on. So I am going to put it on this key ring, and then I'll feed this key ring through the zipper. And this will be our embellished Infusible Ink Sublimation Bag. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. We absolutely love answering your questions and seeing your comments. And I hope you all have a very gorgeous day. Bye, friends.